Who still remembers the unsolved mysteries of the stall culture, like the Bermuda Loch Ness Monster, or Pyramid or something? After all these years, Bermuda is an ordinary sea. The water monster never appeared again, and the pyramid is the tomb of the pharaoh Hu woman. And this grave was made by thousands of workers in just 20 years, built with copper chisel and rope. But if this is the story we've heard for 5,000 years, it may have been a genius from the beginning. What about the lies woven by the heart? If the truth is not just forgotten, but deliberately by some people, is the system buried? Are you ready? Let's go together to dig mysteries that remain unexplained until now. Piece that together. It could rewrite a last chapter in human history. Why can't the mystery of the pyramids be solved? A point person, Dr. Tashi Horus. In Egyptian archaeology, he was a pharaoh-like figure. For decades, every grain of sand in the Giza Plateau, it seemed to be under his gaze. He used an iron fist, defending the official history that everyone knows. For any attempt to challenge the authority of the mind shows almost instinctive rejection. He has publicly stated more than once, those books on the market about pyramids, most of it is nonsense. Only what he wrote represents the truth. This absolute authority and unquestionable attitude, that in itself is a huge mystery. Is he taking the rancor of a scientist, safeguarding Egypt's priceless heritage, prevent them from being tainted by groundless speculation? Or are you playing the gatekeeper of history, guarding someone once uncovered, the shocking secret that could trigger a thought earthquake? So let's point the camera at the pyramid itself. Look at those bells. Wood said that the crumbling cannot be ignored. Visual damage first. He is so abnormal as a Suzuki. Imagine that. An all-powerful pharaoh. A permanent home built for oneself. What a luxury that must be. Look at Sichintaman's tomb. In the small tomb, stuffed with thousands of gold treasures. What about the Great Pyramid? It took an unimaginable amount of manpower. Magnificent architecture of material resources. It's shockingly empty inside. There are no murals celebrating the achievements of the pharaohs. There is no dazzling array of funeral objects. Even the mummy of the pharaoh himself, never been found. It doesn't make sense. This is like a billionaire. I built myself a mansion that looks like a super mansion. Inside is the grave of the rough house. It makes no sense. Secondly, it's a ceiling-level construction technique. Inside the pyramid, those giant granite blocks weighing 80 tons, from the Aswan vegetable market 800 kilometers away. In an age when even iron was not popular, how did they bring these behemoths together? Transport across the desert unarmed, crossing the Nile. It's still a mystery. And here's what's even more incredible. The machining accuracy. The joints of those stones, it's so tight that it can't even insert a piece of paper. The holes in the stone are round and regular. The spiral marks left behind show the improvement speed of the drill bit, even faster than modern carbide drills. Modern engineer, experimenting with replicated ancient copper chisel tools. It turned out that, want to leave a scratch on the granite? It's hot, if the original tools can't do it. So what were they using? One more detail, enough to invalidate all traditional explanations. Interior lighting. The passages inside the pyramid are narrow and long, like a maze, and there's no natural light at all. Craftsmen have to work in this environment. Extremely demanding construction. It is necessary to have stable and reliable lighting. Strangely enough, scientists use the most sophisticated instruments to detect, nor on the walls and ceilings of the passage find any torches or oil lamps. Sit left behind, oil stains or combination marks. Not a single bit. So here's the problem. In total darkness, how did they light up the pyramids? Did they have some kind of cold light technology we have yet to understand? If you say, and these technological mysteries are just the tip of the iceberg, what's down there? It directly points the finger at human civilization. The timeline itself. Geologist Robert Schoch, when studying the Sphinx, he came to a conclusion that shocked the academic community. The Sphinx and the erosion marks on its base, it's typical, was initialized by thousands of years of torrential rain. Sand erosion can leave sharp cuts. Brain erosion is round, vertical furrow brown. But here's the thing. Sahara Desert. The last time I had this kind of water, it caused such severe damage. The humid climate of stone. When was that? The address data provided a clear answer. Around 10,000 BC. That is, at least 12,000 years ago. At this point in time, the birth of a civilization better than we know of ancient Egypt, a full 7,000 years too early. This means that when the first pharaoh wore a crown, lion, the face of the body may already be covered with rain marks, staring at the world in silence for thousands of years. Echoing this is evidence from the stars. Researcher Robert Paul found that the layout of the three great pyramids of Giza and the sky in 10,500 BC, it's a perfect map of the universe. They accurately simulated the distant era, the position of the three stars in Orion's belt, the relative relationship between brightness and in the Milky Way. It's an interstellar language that spans tens of thousands of years, carved on the Giza Plateau. The most chilling explorations that are forcibly ended. In the 1990s, German engineer Rudolf Gantenbrink, with a company called a Pivot, it means the tiny robot that opens the way, explore the Queen's Tomb, a mysterious passage with only 20 centimeters of square footage. After climbing more than 60 meters up the channel, the robot sends back a picture of making the world acrylic. A limestone door blocked the way. There are also two mysterious copper handles on the door. This is inside the pyramid, the first discovery of complex metal components. What's behind the door? It's the pharaoh's chamber of secrets. All lost literature, but the eyes of the world are focused on this, waiting for the answer to be revealed. The Egyptian authorities suddenly cited the protection of cultural relics as an excuse, halted all follow-up studies. 10 years later, under tremendous public pressure, another team, Chirurgeon, drilled a small hole in the door. Hole when the tiny camera passes through the small hole. And then something even more amazing happened. Only 20 centimeters behind the door, it's another identical door. The layout of the door within the door completely refutes the idea of a symbolic passage. He is clearly guarding something. However, the search for the second door is still a long way off. Why 2017? Scientists have used a music scanning technique called clairvoyant. The result is in the heart of the pyramid, directly above the Grand Corridor, found a length exceeding 30 meters of massive hollow structure. This previously unknown void. There are no known entrances. What is his use? What's in there? When we thought we could finally uncover a new secret. Time. The answer was still for security reasons. Prohibition of any form of physical distribution. Stop abruptly at the door of truth again and again. This makes one that originally only existed in legendary theory seems more and more real. Civilization as we know it today is not the only relic on Earth. It's not even the first season. In the distant Ice Age, perhaps there was once a global, highly developed prehistoric civilization. Researcher Graham Hancock believes that this civilization has our difficulties, imaginative astronomy and engineering techniques. Göbekli Tepe in Turkey 2,000 years ago. Its complex megalithic carvings and astronomical arrangements, it's the traces they leave behind. Later, a global disaster destroyed this civilization. The few survivors are like missionaries of knowledge, bringing remnants of wisdom to the rest of the world. Eventually ignited ancient Egypt. Sumer, ancient India, the spark of civilization as we know it. That would explain it perfectly. Why did the knowledge systems of these ancient civilizations? It seems to have erupted suddenly, rather than starting from scratch and gradually evolving. They're not at the starting point, but standing in a place where we have, on the shoulders of the forgotten giants. So let's revisit that. When all the clues are empty of the mausoleum, craft that transcends the times, rain marks from 12,000 years ago, code from the starry sky, and those locked doors, when they all point in the same direction, the simple story of the pallid mausoleum. Do you still believe? When all the clues are in front of us, how do we decipher this great mystery? One possibility is we really underestimated the wisdom and power of the ancient Egyptians. Perhaps there is a set of things we have not yet understood. Long-last knowledge systems and construction techniques. The pyramid is the shortest route to their wisdom. All the mysteries we have seen today, just because we lost that manual. Another possibility is that the truth is much older. Pyramids and the Sphinx. Like maybe it really came from an earlier, an unknown civilization submerged by the long river of time. Ancient Egyptians, latecomers, they discovered these magnificent ruins, built their own glorious civilization around them, and integrated them into their own gods. words and belief systems. Of course, there is a third possibility. That is the truth, somewhere in between, or hides something we can't imagine yet. Brand new answers. So which explanation do you prefer? Pyramids is the ultimate proof of the wisdom of the ancient Egyptians, or a lost civilization, silent echoes left for the future, or behind him, what secrets we have never touched? Put your thoughts or the fourth possibility in your mind. Leave it in the comment section.